In the last video I talked about casting off even before we'd actually moored up. So anyway, here's my glamorous assistant showing us how it's done. Now, if you noticed, well, before she untied the rope, that had a bit of slack in it. So what does that suggest? Well, it suggests that the back rope would be tight because we're on an ebbing tide. So the boat is being held by the back rope and the front one is slack or slackish. Now when the tide went the other way, the tide coming in, the front rope would be tight and the back rope would be slackish. At low water, slack water, then there's not going to be much of a difference on either. So what we're doing here is, because the tide is ebbing, now there was a big boat just on the other side of those safety ladders and that went early morning. But even so, to go forward there, I could quite easily drift down the river and go into that boat down there if I can't pull out in time. So what I'm doing is I'm reversing off the mooring. And this is just as easy for me coming out as it was for me coming in, because the boat in front has gone, the boat behind has gone. So I've got plenty of room. But what you need to do is, if you've got bow thrusters, then it's straightforward really. You can just steer the boat with the bow thrusters. If not, and you're in a tight confined space and you point in the direction of the tide, you have to reverse out, because if you, like I said, if you start going forward, you just drift into the boat in front of you. So if you hold the front into the banking, your back end will swing out with the tide, and as soon as it's clear of the boat behind you, you can just reverse out. And by using the bow thrusters, if you've got them, or forward and backwards to turn the boat, it depends on the width of the river, how many times you have to do that, and just keep your eye on for the boats coming either way. And I hope that I've explained that correctly. It's quite easy for me to be looking at this and thinking, oh, this is what I did, and I'm telling you, but it might not be coming over as it's coming out of my mouth, basically, or out of my brain. So if you understand it, please let me know in the comments. If not, please let me know in the comments. So on we go now to two of my favourite places. First stop, Womack Water, and then we head for Thurne Dyke. And when I say two of my favourite places, well, I'm just trying to think now of any places that I don't like. The only thing I can think of that I don't like about the Broads is when I'm putting suitcases back in the car on the last day when we've got to go home. I can't think of any time that I've had a bad experience or anything, or I've gone home and thinking, well, that were crap. I can't ever think that. I've been abroad and sat on a beach or by a pool thinking, yeah, this is alright, but it's not quite the same as the Broads, is it? I'll soon be back.
You see the sun is coming up, I feel it too.
Now, I have mentioned, well, in the last video I mentioned it, and I've mentioned it in other videos as well, but there's a lovely walk from Acle Bridge. Now, just the other side of the reeds on the left is a path, and you can walk all the way from Acle Bridge all the way up to Upton Dyke. Now, when you come to this little, well, there's a little lodge that you can hire out. I think it's from Riverside Rentals, and I can never remember the name, and I can never remember the name of the boating club at the side of it. But when you get there, there's a sign that points you over towards, can you see directly ahead of the boat now? Straight ahead, there's a forest type thing with the trees, you know, like, looks like a forest. Probably is a forest, well, a glade or a woods. Well, there's a sign that takes you over that way, and you go diagonal. Now, I'm pointing at the screen here, so I don't know why I'm doing that, because you can't see that. But it's in a diagonal, it takes you over to Upton, so it's a bit of a shortcut, but be wary, it's muddy, or it was when we've done it. But you can carry on past these two buildings. Now, the first one, like I say, you can hire that out, but there's no road access to it. You have to walk up the banking with all your stuff, or get somebody to take you in a boat, or hire a boat, whatever. I think fishermen hire this one out, and they probably take 10 minutes, like I said, to get the gear up here. And then you just carry on up the river to Upton Dyke, and then down the dyke. You can't touch you for it. It's a really nice walk. If you do find my walk and you do it, I think it ended up in being about 6 miles, something like that. Yeah, so, well, I'm guessing that when we come back next time, well, I'm not guessing, I know for a fact that these reeds will be green. But this is the beauty of coming in different seasons. It's never the same. In fact, it's never the same one week to the next, is it? There's always something different. At every bend you go around, it's just wonderful. Right, I'll shut up now, put some more music on. Now here's a classic example of what I was talking about in the previous video, where I was central and just right, and there's a boat that's doing a bit of redugging. None of us are wrong, because, well, there's nothing coming. Now there's a boat's coming the other way, so I've moved over a little bit. Now in fact, I never, unless it's very tight, and I have to do, I never cruise that close to the banking, because there's probably nothing at all there, otherwise other boats would have hit it, but I'm always wary of like underwater obstructions and stuff, so I never get that close to the banking. So there's nothing wrong with cruising that close to the reeds, it's just, I think it's probably just me. I like to be in open water, but like I say, I'm moving over now. Looks like I'm moving over too far because there's still loads of space there, but the camera angle, sometimes it can be the camera that's a bit deceiving. I'm not too sure whether I go past this chap in a bit, but, we're just coming up to Upton Dyke now, and I didn't think there was any moorings at the top end of Upton Dyke, but I have seen videos and I have seen boats moored right on the corner there, right at the top. I'm not 100% sure whether you're supposed to do that. I thought there was no moorings at all down Upton Dyke until you got down to the stair at the bottom, basically. But I could be wrong, so it's worthwhile checking that out. See where the green sign is down there on the left? There's been boats moored on that little spot there. Now I don't know whether you're allowed to moor there. I'm sure there's a sign farther down there saying no mooring. But I'm not the river police. I know what you're thinking. This looks like a good place to fish, otherwise there won't be all those platforms there. Let's moor up against one of them and do a bit of fishing. No. No. You can't do that, sorry. Now, as I've just been looking at this, I was intrigued actually as to how they get the fishing tackle to these platforms. In fact, I don't recall ever seeing anybody fishing on them, but then again, I'm not there every day, am I? Yes, so we are going to overtake this guy anyway, but I've just been looking, like I say, on Google Earth. I'll shove the picture up now. So anybody who does fish on these platforms, if they have matches or whatever, how do you get your stuff to it? It's got to be a decent walk.
I got shadows on the run, and I'm not trying to chase them. Pull the curtains one by one, light filling the spaces. No words left to leave unsaid, no more living with regret. We don't face slowly. Reservations on the floor, unafraid to let it show, 'cause love is holy. I'm starting with you. I'm taking my chances with you. We've been spinning for too long, records on rotation. Breath before it's gone. Leave your hesitations. No words left to leave unsaid. No more living with regret. We don't face slowly. Reservations on the floor, unafraid to let it show, 'cause love is holy. I'm certain with you, you. I'm taking my chances with you, I don't mind giving again. I don't mind taking a chance on ya. I don't mind giving again. I don't mind taking a chance on ya. I don't mind taking a chance on you. Don't mind taking a chance on you. I don't mind taking a chance on you. Don't mind taking a chance on you. I don't mind taking a chance on you. Don't mind taking a chance on you.
Exterminate! Exterminate!
For those of you who prefer just listening to the river sounds, the sound of the boat cruising along, and not really bothered about the music, then the reason that it's not often possible is because of the wind. Now I'll just show you now what it is like. So unfortunately we can't really always have the camera. See, what it is, I shall explain. I have been asked actually about the setup for, it was Bob who asked me about the setup. Could I show the setup of how I use my cameras and what editing I do? And I can't show you in this video obviously because all I've got is this camera, but I can explain a little bit. Now this is a GoPro and it has a waterproof casing. This is my old GoPro. Now the waterproof casing, when you have that on, you can hardly hear anything at all, so you can't hardly hear the sounds of the river or the wind or anything. But I have a back on it that is, it's like an open back, so you can hear the sounds. Now the problem with that is any wind it picks it up. On my new GoPro I have a thing for it which I can put a wind sock on it. Christy keeps telling me put a sock in it. I think that's what she said. I thought she was talking about my camera first, put a sock on it, but no, put a sock in it. Which I didn't use too much last time, so that spoiled it. Quite a lot of footage got spoiled that I couldn't use because of the wind. So that's why I can't leave it to its own devices on top of the boat and let you listen to the sound of the river, because that would drive you absolutely mad listening to that wind howling. I absolutely hate that. When I've videoed something, doing a bit of a selfie thing, and when I play it back and you can just hear the wind, oh god, no, I hate that. I hate it. I hate that more than me wafting the blooming camera about, using it to follow my eyes, which I still do and I can't get out of that habit. I'll have to have a word with myself.
Floating high up on a feeling. Whoa, oh, oh. Above the clouds where there's no rooftop, no ceiling. Whoa, oh, oh. Into a place where the light can't come, eclipse the sun. This is heavenly. All I want, all I need is right here next to me. It can't get better than this. No, 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 no. It can't get better than this. No, 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 no. This is so divine, 'cause right now is the time for us to feel alive. This is heavenly bliss. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't get better than this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All my friends, all my people right here next to me. Whoa, oh, oh. 'Cause when we're here all together, it's like family. Whoa, oh, oh. We didn't know it could be this good. No, 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 no. It's serendipity. Right here is the place where we're supposed to be. It can't get better than this. No, 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 so no. It can't get better than this. No, 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 no. This is so divine, 'cause right now is the time for us to feel
In the video when we was coming down the Bure to Acle, we talked about these 3 moorings here. Now obviously they're on the left as you come down. Here we go with the basic navigational skills again. Do you know I'm getting good at this? Now they're on the right as we go up. Now I've never moored there, so I can't really tell you, but I've just done a quick Google Earth search and let's have a look at where you can go. Well, every day's a school day. So see the 2 boats moored here. Now if you look at the Google Earth picture, at the bottom the boat moored up, well, that is these moorings. Now from there you can walk up the banking, down the dyke, and then up a path by the looks of it, and maybe even a road, that possibly. And at the top of the picture is Thurne Dyke. I have no idea how long that would take to walk. I may do it one day. Yeah, so if you've done that walk, please let us know in the comments. How long did it take you? Like I say, every day is a school day. Well, we're here now at the Thurne mouth, and if you bear left, you go up towards Horning and Wroxham. Bear right, and then you're heading up towards Potterham. Well, first you've got Thurne Dyke. Now, I did go through this in the last video, but you might not have seen the last video, so let's go through it again. You've got Thurne Dyke, where Thurne Mill is. At the end of Thurne Dyke, you've got the Lion Inn, and it's well worth a try there if you like pubs, if you like pub grubs, if you like a nice chill out. It's a lovely place, it is. It's been taken over about 4 years ago now, I think it is, and they've done wonders with the pub. They have, really have. Carrying on past Thurne Dyke, which we're not quite there yet, then your next turn off is Womack, down Womack Dyke, and there's 3 moorings, as you will see in a bit. But I just want to talk about itineraries. Some people plan their holiday like a military operation, some people just go with the flow. Now, if you were to go with the flow, make sure you turn around before you moor up, won't you? So you're going against the flow. But, well, I'm a bit of both, really. If we're going down south, I tend to do a pretty decent itinerary, because I do book places to moor, like at, depends where we want to stay, Upton Broad, Waveney River Centre, Beccles Yacht Station. Beccles is our go-to place, really. Christine loves it there. I have to suffer a little bit when we go there, because what she does, she insists on going around the shops, and says to me, don't get lost, go and sit in that beer garden at the King's Head and don't move until I come and find you. So, well, I have to do that. But as far as itineraries go, are you an itinerary person or just winging it? On the Northern Rivers on this trip, we know all the places. We know that we like to go to all the places. So, and on the first day we just said, right, we want a nice long cruise. So it was either going from Morning down to Stokesby or for a morning up to Neatstead. Well, given Christine the choice of those, it was Neatstead hands down, and that's what we did. And then the next day we were supposed to be coming up to Potterham, because Dan and his boat. Now check out his day 2 part 2, I think it is, video, because he's coming up this exact stretch of river, and the sails on the windmill, well, the mill at Thurne Dyke, are actually turning. Yeah, so check that out. Dan and his boat, day 2 part 2, I think it is. I'm sure Daniel will correct me if I'm wrong. So as far as itineraries go, what are you? Are you we're going here today, we're going there today, or you just cast off and then see where we go? Like I say, we do both, really. On the Northern Rivers, you've got to have a plan B and a plan C, really, because it can be that busy that you might want to go to, say, well, where we are going now, down Womack. There's been a few times we've come down here and you just can't get in. So you can either loiter, drop your mud weight, or go and find somewhere else. But if you've not been to Womack and you need to get there in the busy months, you need to get there early, so about 10ish in the morning, and go down to the King's Arms. Now if you like Carvery, Wednesdays and Sundays they do a lovely carvery. And there's a little train that runs around the ceiling in there, so like the kids can have a look at that. It's a really nice pub. And in the village at Womack, I really should be talking about Thurne, because we're just about to go past Thurne, aren't we? I've not walked anywhere from Thurne Dyke other than the pub, basically. I've not walked anywhere past that. It was on the list to do. We was going to go for a walk, but you can only do so much in a day, can't you? And then once you've walked to the end and sat in the beer garden, and Ricky comes out and starts talking to me and has me sampling some, I don't know what it was actually, but it was bloody gorgeous. I was drinking a black show stout in the pub, and he said, have you tried this one? And he brought me a sample, because what you can do in the White Horse at Neatstead and the Lion at Thurne, you can buy a third of a pint glasses, so you can have 3 different drinks. Well, as soon as I saw the black show stout, I didn't need to have 3 drinks, because for me that it's gorgeous. Yeah, anyway, so he kept me. Well, if you've seen the video of when we actually moored up here in the end, me going back to the boat. So a lot of people like to see where that boat's there moored on the end there. Now, Nicky Cotton, who we met up with on holiday, they like to get there, and Daniel Pratt, he likes to get moored up there. I don't mind going down the dyke. I reverse out it normally if there's not too many boats about, but you can turn at the bottom. Just it can be windy when you get down that dyke, and it can either blow you onto the banking when you're going in, and then it just wants to keep you there when you're trying to get off. Now that's another one that's in the video as well on the day, and there will be a link in the description for that if you want to have a look at it. So we've gone past Thurne Dyke and the lovely mill, and one day I wanted to fly my drone round it, do a circular thing of it, but the next morning, as you will see when we come to that part, when we have another trip with that one, a nice trip, the weather wasn't quite as nice as this. Now look at those clouds, you can almost touch them, couldn't you? And getting all nostalgic again. It won't be long now. Anyway, yeah, so we're on our way to Womack Water. Now down in Ludham, in the village, you've got a supermarket and a post office, and you've got the butchers. Now Daniel in his boat, he goes there before he goes and gets his boat. He'll go to the butchers and get his now you see, this is schoolboy error by Daniel really, because he's got a bit of a loyalty thing with Barnes Brinkcraft, and they give you an hamper, but he goes to the butchers and buys some meat and stuff, and then he goes, gets his boat and finds that he's got an hamper full of food, and he's only got one belly. So did you actually eat it all, Daniel? Have I asked you that? So anyway, also in the village, like I said, you've got the King's Arms, you've got the butcher and supermarket, and there's a couple of nice walks that we've done from there, which you will find in previous videos. There was one in the April 21 ones where we did a shorter walk, and there is one where you can walk from Womack Water all the way over to Acle, and then down the river to Ludham Bridge, and then, well, you definitely need, well I did anyway, refreshments in the dog inn, and then a nice walk back down to Womack Water. Well, obviously stopping for refreshments at the King's Arms. And yeah, so beyond, which we don't do in this trip, but obviously we will be doing in July because we'll be spending a week in Potterham, and beyond Womack Water is Potterham. Now as you're going in to Potterham, it's a fair walk. I'm guessing about a 15-minute walk from the mooring to the bridge. Maybe 20 minutes. I haven't actually done it, but it's called the quiet moorings. Now you're not allowed to run your engine, other than obviously mooring up and casting off, because it's close to people, residents. So they ask you not to run your engines. Now that brings me nicely onto a subject that is quite emotive really, because I have an aversion to the sound of another boat's engine. It really winds me up, and I don't know why. But the thing is, a lot of people are confused, and especially newcomers to the Broads, because the boatyard will tell you to run your engine for 4 or 5 hours a day to charge your batteries. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you do half an hour's cruise from Stalham and then leave your engine running for 4.5 hours, because you're just going to annoy people. People think that they have to put the engine on to start the heater. Now it could be that your battery's a little bit flat, and you may have to just put your engine on just to kick the heating in, which we've had to do. Well, we didn't do actually. I should have done, but we didn't do. But generally, well, on our boat, and which is a Webasto, same as on a lot of the higher boats, you just turn your heater on, and you don't need to start your engine unless you've had the heater on all day and you've run that particular battery down that kicks it in to start with. Then you may have to run your engine, but you do not have to start your engine to put your heater on normally. The advice that you're given the most of the free moorings is that not to run your engine between the hours of 8 at night till 8 in the morning, unless it's an emergency sort of thing. There's many a time though I've heard engines running at 6 in the morning, and if you were setting off to get an early tide to get through Yarmouth, something like that, or you need to set off to get to you wherever early, then fair enough, you switch your engine on and then you just depart. That's not a problem. But if you're sat there at 6:30 in the morning, you've turned your engine on, thinking that you need to because you've just woke up and it's a bit chilly, then it's annoying. It's just, you shouldn't do it, basically. In my opinion. I had a right tantrum at, where was we, Ranworth? It must have been 11 o'clock at night. The engine's running, it was a loud engine. I'm thinking, shut the thing up, please. So unless your heater battery that just kicks it in, see, your heater it's on most of them is run by diesel. You're using fuel, but it needs that little bit of a kick to get it going. So it does need, because it pumps, there's a pump, so that is run by the battery. And so you do need a little bit of battery. Now we did run ours down once one winter day. That was at Upton Bridge actually, when we thought we could get the electric, but we didn't have the right cards. Yeah, so running your engine, if you've had a nice cruise during the day, 2 or 3 hours will top your batteries up. Well, it's not only the noise, is it? Some of these boats pump out some garbage from behind, bit smelly, not good for the environment. So you keep running your engines, they'll all be electric soon. Right, rant over.
Again, a kid
Well, here we are now at the entrance to Womack Dyke. Now, just as we go in here, this used to be the captain's favourite while mooring. And I don't think you can actually get in there anymore. I think he did have a try. So just on the left, it seems a little bit overgrown with reeds here. So I think it was, well, let's see, it was somewhere around here. If he watches my videos, he might be able to tell us exactly where it was. But I have a feeling, like I say, you can't get on it anymore because of all these reeds. So coming down the dyke, we're on 4 mile an hour, which is fine. It's fast enough. No need to rush, is there? I mean, why would you want to rush? That's another story, but let's not go there just yet. And the first moorings you come to in the dyke are on the right hand side. Now, that's starboard for you who are picking it up now. Port is left. Now, do you know, I'm giving how stupid I am away, but do you know how I remember that? Because port has 4 letters and left has 4 letters. Starboard has more than 4 and right has more than 4. I know I'm stupid, aren't I? So anyway, here we go. Well, I'll tell you a story now. She can't hear me. When I'm saying to Christine, turn left, I have to say, turn the way that the ring on your wedding finger. That way, that's left. That is not a joke, actually. So just on the right down here, on the starboard bank. Starboard bank? Not too sure that's a correct terminology either. And here's our first ranger, actually. Now, these are very helpful, these guys. If you've got any questions, well, obviously, if they're going in the opposite direction to you, you're not going to be able a chance to ask them, but they are very knowledgeable about the Broads, as you would expect, and they are very helpful. And all the ones I've met are decent, nice people. Now, I think there must have been some sort of ranger convention on down here, because we saw another one very shortly after. Anyway, so here's the moorings now. Now, from here, it's about a 15, possibly 20-minute walk. Well, at least to the staith, it's about 10-15 minutes, and then a little bit further down to the village, where we've got the pub, like I've said, you've got the butchers, and you've got the supermarket. And we went for a walk from the staith, which brought us back this way, and then see the trees to the right. There's a path that you can go, and it's like a circular, well, it's a squarish walk. It's about an hour. Now, Daniel, one down in his boat, without his boat, tried to do a walk up here. He thought he could get, I think he thought he could get to the river Thurne. But I was watching the video and I thought, oh, you've gone too far there, mate. There's no path there. But all these paths around here, I'm going to be sussing them out come the 24th of July. So anyway, there's some nice mornings here, but did you see the safety ladders? Now, the clue is in the name. They're called safety ladders because if somebody's in the water, they can get out up the ladder. So don't be mooring across them. Now, I have seen lots and lots of people moor across them. And here's the other ranger. So we didn't have a lone ranger, we've got 2 rangers. Now I think this one was a lady ranger. Not that I noticed, but anyway. So it's a lovely cruise down here, down to Womack. And if you can't get in at the staith, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put a little bit of music on and then I'll explain a little bit more as we get farther down. And we're just coming up to Hunter's Yard here. I was just going to put some music on then, but I think I'll tell you about the little experience we had at Hunter's Yard, because for Christine's birthday, I'm really good. I'm very generous, me. I hired one of these yachty type things from Hunter's Yard, and a really nice bloke took us out and tried showing me how to operate one of them yachty things. You know, like that little thing there on the right. Well, actually, these to the right now. Could I get the hang of it? No. Anyway, let's put a bit of music on.
So deep in love, oh yeah, with a wonderful girl, the loveliest girl in this whole wide world. Oh, it's wonderful to be in love. Nothing is greater beneath the sky above. And I'm in love, oh yeah, so deep in love. Y'all listen to me now. Thought I was through, oh yeah, counting the stars above. But I've changed my mind, oh yeah, 'cause I'm so deep in love. Yes, I found love deep in my heart. It's so adorable, must be heaven's work of art. Oh, in love, oh yeah, so deep in love. Oh, thought I was through, oh yeah, counting the stars above, oh yeah, but I've changed my mind, 'cause I'm so deep in love, oh yeah. The sweet thing you do is love and romance. You makes me feel like a natural man. I'm in love with you, baby. Oh, I'm in love, so deep in love. I'm in love, so deep in love. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's got to be love, baby.
Past mine and probably many, many other people's dream homes on the right, Little Holland. Just after Little Holland, we come to a fork in the river. Now, the right channel takes you down to the Stade, the left channel takes you to Womack Island. Now, you can go around, if you want to have a look, you can go that way and you come out the other end. I'll just show what I mean on Google Earth. See the little island, dead centre of the screen? Now, you'd never have worked this out if it weren't for me, but that is Womack Island. So as you can see, you can come in from the end that we was approaching it and go out the other side. There's probably enough room for about 3 boats in there, I'm guessing. Now, many, many, many years ago, we moored up somewhere, and I can't remember where it was, but I'm sure there were signs saying beware of the snakes. I have a feeling it was Womack Island, and I've asked the question before on forums and so on, and I haven't had a definitive answer on that. But there you can see a boat moored up at the other side of the trees. So it is an alternative if you can't get it at the Stade, or even if you just want some peace and quiet. You can't get to anywhere from it unless you've got a rowing boat. And so now we're approaching the Stade. Now when you come down to Womack Water, it often looks as though it's full, because the first lot of boats, they're private boats, but you do get the impression that, oh, I'm not going to get in there, it's full. And quite often that is true, because it is a very popular place. And you can mud wait and just wait and loiter for somebody to leave. We've done that before. But it is good to get in because, well, it's just such a nice place. On the Stade, you've got a tackle shop, a little shop as well. There's pump out and fuel that you can get here, and I think you can actually reserve a mooring at the boatyard. I think they have one mooring at. Don't quote me on that actually, because I've read that recently somewhere. So whether it's still available or not, I don't know. And I don't know who you ring for it, but I'm guessing Womack Boatyard, whoever that may be. But yes, there's a lot of lovely places around here that I'd like to live in. Christine says she doesn't really want to live in somewhere that's right on the water, because one day you might be in bed and your bed starts floating about when the sea comes to reclaim it. But I don't think that'll be in my lifetime. But the tides are getting higher and higher. I've noticed that in the last few years. There seems to be a lot of times where you can't get under Roxham Bridge, never mind blooming Potter Iron Bridge. And we've had 2 aborted attempts at going down south, where we planned on going down south, but the tides were that blooming high we couldn't even get under Yarmouth Bridge, and we only need 610. So anyway, it is what it is. Now Bob, one of my subscribers, asked me if I could do a thing about show how to stern on moor, and I will try to do that in July, but I can't do it really by just having the camera facing forward and me saying what I do. But well, I'll try it basically. I can try, just explain how I do it when we get a little bit closer. The wind was getting up, so I've got the sound turned down on the footage because, well, just listen to this bit. Cheese kings, we sat on top of the boat, just a little top one. Slight change in the weather with the wind coming along, and it brought some rather nasty weather around about 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow on this holiday. You'd probably see that actually when we're leaving Thurne Dyke. So basically, like I say, I'll try to explain. I come in like I am doing now, and then once I see a spot, I'll try to get my front end facing away from it and the back end facing towards it. Now I'll turn full lock to get in that position, but then I won't touch the steering wheel again because I don't need to, because I've got bow thrusters. And I've said before, you can't steer a boat like you can a car, so there's no point keep changing lock to try to get it change direction, because there's no steering in reverse. So just take it nice and easy. Now if you haven't got bow thrusters, if you do forward a little bit, backwards a little bit, and keep doing it like that until you get into that straight position for going right the way back, and then you can put, if you want, you can straighten up your lock, so there's no steering whatsoever. But like I said, there's very little when you're reversing anyway, and then just go straight back. But with bow thrusters, you just keep it in reverse very, very gently until you get the shout to stop, or watch that there. Listen to how it happened at the time. Yeah? What? I'm watching the other side. This is the instructions I get. Yeah. So that's probably not much use to you really, but I will try to do a better instructional video come the next time we're down, which is at the end of July. Have I mentioned I'm looking forward to that? After a nice walk, which took us in the direction back up to Hunter's Yard, and then round sort of parallel with the River Thurne, but quite a distance away, you can't actually get to it. Well, you can, but not on this walk that we did. You sort of go round in a circle, well, a square, and then you come back and into the village, checking the water levels at the King's Arms. Now, the King's Arms and the White Horse have got special exclusions to the water level checking rules because they're not actually on the water, are they? But to be able to check the water levels with the aid of a pint of beer, strictly, you have to be able to see the water. But like I say, they've been given special permission to be called a water level checking establishment. Plus any other pub that's not nowhere near the river that I frequent, they've all got that status. Well, I'm sure she thought she was doing the right thing.
Thought I'd seen it all till I saw you. London in the fall and Paris too. And I've climbed hills to castles in the snow. But you I can't let go. Thought I'd found everything till I found you. But I was lost at sea and I never knew. You take me places where the winds don't blow, so I won't let go. Through fire and stone, in places unknown, I'll never let go.
Well, I was trying to leave the sounds of the river, the boat and surroundings there, but the wind's got up a little bit again and it's on the microphone. So I thought, well, what can I talk about now? I could put some more music on, but then a thought came to me because I've had a question from Bob, who it's not particularly for newcomers to the Norfolk Broads. It's about how I edit my videos, and if you don't mind, I'll pop it in here, or I'll attempt to anyway. Now, what I use is a program called Premiere Elements. It's like a cut down version of Premiere Pro, which costs a blooming fortune. In fact, I used to have Adobe things, and subscribe to them, but I was never using them. So it'd be like $40 a month, something like that I was paying, and never used them. So anyway, I use Premiere Elements. It's like I say, it's a cut down version, and I'll just put a screen grab up. Well, actually, we'll just talk about these moorings here for a minute. Now, like I've said when we were coming in, these are about a 15-minute walk down to the Staithe, something like that. These are very popular moorings because people don't always want to go down and stern on if they can get in here sideways. Right, so back to the editing. So I use Premiere Elements, and basically I shall show you a screenshot of what I'm doing not at this exact moment, but just before when we was coming up to Hunter's Yard. So this is my editing suite basically, and up on the left you've got the project assets. So everything that I've done, all the videos that I use, that I make, they go up into here, well, I've got them on each day there, because all I've got on this particular session is the footage from my old GoPro. Now, normally I'll have my old GoPro, my new GoPro, now we've got my drone, and also the camcorder that I used from inside the boat, so it's not picking up the wind until I stand outside and I haven't got my wind muffler on. All these things you have to take into consideration, and it just goes out the window when you start doing it sometimes. But anyway, so once it comes to editing it, put them all into this program, and then you put them on the timeline like I've got here. Now, if you've got more than one video that you want to keep flipping from, which I do on a regular basis, you have to have you put them onto a different track, and you can have multiple tracks as well. And then you've got music down at the bottom, and the bit that I'm coming in now when I finish speaking will go in that voice area. So I just basically, you can cut one video and go into another video, and that's how I do it. And then the orange line that you see there, that means that it needs rendering to make the playback as I'm going through the video a little bit more smooth. And I find that this Premiere Elements is good enough for what I want to do. I have bought Film Pro, and I never use it because it's too complicated. And there are a few free ones like DaVinci Resolve, but they tend to be processor hungry, and this is pretty processor hungry, but it seems to work because I have what I've got on here is an all-in-one PC, and it's a little bit more powerful than my laptop that I have. So it's fine for me. It works for me. I'm used to it. It makes it a lot easier. The learning curve, in fact, there's still things on it that I find and I think, oh, I didn't know that was on there. I didn't know I could do that with this. And then the music I get it from a place called Music Bed, which there is a link always in the description about that one. But there's a cost to that. It costs me £135 a year for Music Bed. I can unlimited tracks, and I can use them on all my videos on this one channel. I have another channel called Dave the Master Baker. Now that's spelt B-A-K-E-R. And I can't use Music Bed on there unless I got another subscription. Now, I'm not going to pay another £135 a year for music on that channel because I very rarely do anything with it anyway. Certainly not since lockdown. I might resurrect that once at some point in the near future when my head gets right. After a couple of trips on the Norfolk Broads, I'm sure I'll be back to normal. And if you don't know what I'm talking about there, basically, it's sort of, I think I've had a bit of lockdown depression, and it's taking its time to sort of get back to normal. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are feeling a bit anxious and not quite themselves, should we say. Even though lockdown's now sort of lifting slightly, it doesn't trip a switch, does it? It doesn't sort of turn off. It's still there. You've still got that little bit of anxiety, and at least we can recognise it, can't we? And I'm hoping it's not a serious thing anyway. So if you are feeling a bit anxious, just chill out with the videos. And if I can help you in any way by you watching these videos, then that'll do for me. storm shelter, just thinking back, the old friends. No, there's M and X and Z in the alphabet, but the old friends. Turning that off a bit. I've got me one up there that's going all the time. I think it's still flashing. Right, so I think it's £5 or £6 a night here at Thurne. Last time we was here, Thurne Dyke. And when we come back, somebody had screwed some plates into the head. They'd done a really good job. And then they come round and stuff for £6 and I thought, well, I don't think they come round and stuff for £6 really wrong. But yeah, it's compared to what we keep it over. Well, we're on our way now down to Thurne Dyke, and I was just looking on Thurne Mill's website, and as I'm doing this now, it's the 21st of May, and apparently the mill from yesterday, Thursday the 20th of May, is open twice a week, Thursday and a Sunday, and I think that goes on up to the end of September. And they do have events and things on around here, and it's great to see those sails turning. I did mention earlier on that Daniel went down in his boat. On his video you can see it, the sails turning around, and I'll put a little clip up now which I've nicked off the website, and I'm sure they won't mind because you can see it freely on YouTube. Just a little bit of information about the mill basically.
Growing up in London was busy, and coming here to Great Yarmouth was just freedom. And the first stop from the time I was 3 had to be Thurne Mill because I just loved it. When we moved up here as a family, I decided to get in touch with the owner, and once I come to meet him and I saw this place, the rest is history really. Bob was the owner and an engineer. He was just passionate about wind power. He spent his entire life in this workshop, but he needed the help, and I enjoyed doing it. He asked me if I could look after it once he'd gone. So I guess I'm here to stay, really, because I can't imagine walking away from it. Harnessing the wind in this area is quite a difficult process, but with Thurne Mill here and Scroby Sand just down the road, you are really covering the history of wind power from the windmills all the way up to the turbines. It fascinates me, really, what the wind can do, because without it, nothing turns. It's just majestic, it's magic. Owning Thurne Mill, having enjoyed it so much as a child, words can't describe it, really. I pinch myself every now and again. I love it.
So if you want to learn a little bit more about Thurne Mill, then check out the website thurnewindmill.co.uk. I'll put a link in the description. Well, what we decided to do was, what I always decide to do is normally I'll moor on the left-hand side, which is the pub side, basically. Well, the mill side. Shouldn't keep referencing pub, should I? We've never moored before on the other side, which I would class as the farm side, but class it as how you like. And on this occasion, the idea was to do the same, to moor on this left banking. But the wind had other ideas, and we ended up perfectly positioned up against the right-hand bank. So I thought, oh, that'll do, because the wind, as I mentioned before, because I've had to keep switching the volume down on the video, the wind was getting up and it was getting stronger, and it does always seem to be a crosswind here that pins you against the banking, and it can be fun trying to get off the banking again the next day, or even the same day, whenever you want to leave. So like I say, the plan was we would just go to the left now, behind this boat here as it's coming out, and more up there, but the wind sort of just blew me, or us, over to the right hand side. And then there was a boat coming down, so I thought, well, I'll have to give this bit of room to get out, and then we'll head over there. And like I say, the wind's now just dragging me, well, pushing me, or us, keep saying me, to the banking. I think you can just see here any second now. I contemplate on coming back out. Then the wind thinks, nah, you're staying there. So we did. Anybody watching it would have thought, oh, that was a nice little mooring. Little do they know. So now my glamorous assistant, I think this is where I was just about to contemplate, and the wind's sort of saying, nah, get back over there, you're alright there, stay there, mate. So my glamorous assistant now will come along and take the rope, put it through the cleat, because there's cleats on this banking, up and on the other banking as well. And the idea with that is you just put your rope through the cleat and tie it back on the boat. While my glamorous assistant fights the ropes and the wind, all I've got to do is turn the camera off, turn the engine off, and we go for a walk, and bet you can't guess where to. If you want to watch the video of me getting back to the boat a few hours later, well, you can do. You'll find it on YouTube. I'm not going to put a link to that, but I probably will do. So I hope you enjoy this little. It's not been too much of tuition, I don't think, but catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button